Why Watch That is a podcast featuring the critic
and referee who go head-to-head on a quest to discover the best movies
and TV shows Hollywood has to offer. Expect the unexpected from the critic.
While nothing gets past the ref.
We do all the work.
So you don't have to. Welcome to Why Watch That.
A Why Watch That first look.
Well, it looks like the critic got a chance to take a first look at the new movie called The Turning. The Turning. It is, comes from the Conjuring folks. So, it is not, lightweight stuff, meaning, don't go in there thinking you're going to see The Turning like a rom-com. It is not. It is written by Carey and Chad Hayes, based on The Turn of the Screw. Now, The Turn of the Screw, ironically, is a short novel by Henry James remember that series Haunting of Hill House that was on Netflix? Well, they are adapting The Turn of the Screw. So, some kids are involved. And some kids you just don't want to be around. And I saw one thing from this, a spider coming out of somebody's something. So I said, I ain't never seen this movie. But okay, I will never see that movie. That was the most disturbing image I've ever seen in my whole life, which means all y'all are now going to want to go see it. Well, it stars Mackenzie Davis, Mackenzie Davis from Terminator, Terminator, the last Dark Fate. Finn Wolfhard, who is the lead, one of the leads. Well, they're all the leads, I guess, in Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. You've got Brooklynn Price, who I hear is starring in a new Apple show, which I'm not going to talk a lot about, along with some other people who will creep you out unequivocally. They will creep you out. It's directed by Floria. Sigismondi, I don't know how to say that. Sigismondi, But all I know is Floria. I am not seeing this movie because I saw that image and I can't get it out of my head, and it reminded me of the Sister Brothers. I'll just say that. Except for the thing was calling out and not in.
Oh my goodness!
Now, what you're gonna tell us about it?
Yes. Now, interestingly enough, Ref. Before they made this iteration of it, when it was in pre-production and development, I should say, it did have the title The Haunting. That was one of its titles.
Yes, but they can't do that.
Yeah, but then they changed things.
Yeah, they had to.
Now, should they have, is the question. So we have Mackenzie Davis. She plays Kate. Kate is a teacher. She gets this job proposition to go be a governess to two wealthy kids on an estate that's like Downton Abbey. So this is great. Her best friend is like, really? Don't you have a great job? She's like, yes, but this is bigger. And my boss at my current job recommended me for this. So she's all gangbusters to go. They drive up to the big mansion and she's like, oh. Now when she... You can rewind it to hear that. No. When she enters into the mansion, she's supposed to be actually the governess to the young daughter, I should say. Now, the parents are dead and gone. So the young daughter is there, and that's played by Brooklynn Prince. And, her name is Flora. She's, precocious. She's wise beyond her years. And she has no problem telling you the truth. Okay. So, she and Kate, they kind of hit it off. But in between them is a certain Mrs. Gross, played by Barbara Martin, is like an older O'Brien from Downton Abbey. Okay. She's looking at Kate like, She's like, let me tell you something. These people that you're teaching, these people that you're working for, they're very important people. Okay? Meaning you ain't. Okay? You're not.
Relax. Oh my gosh. You need to calm down.
So, okay, something's up with her. And as Kate's getting the tour of this mansion from Flora, they go to all these different parts, and Flora's talking about it. There's this whole life-like, almost Madame Tussauds, like if they made, instead of wax, if they made it in wood, a wood Madame Tussauds like figure of the little girl's like great grandmother. So Kate's like creepy, and she wants to put this this replica of the grandmother away into the sewing room. Okay, and what happens when she does? Now, the reason they were in the little sewing room is because the previous governess left abruptly, so she couldn't finish the dress she was making for little Flora. But why did she leave?
Right.
We don't know, but we saw the act before we got to Kate at the beginning of this movie, of her trying to leave. Did she get out? That's the question. And who was she running away from? Now, the other thing about Kate that you need to know is her mother is in some sort of institution. She's not well mentally. And she's played by Jolie Richardson. So what does that have to do with this at all? Why do I even need to know that? Also, remember, there are two kids here. Now, the older, played by Finn Wolfhard, Miles, he's away at boarding school. Or is he? What happens when he comes back? Why does he come back?
Why does he come back? That's the question.
He seems to have an attitude. Okay? But then he'll like apologize, but then come back with the attitude. What's up with him? And while he misbehaves, Mrs. Gross is there to go, he's the most beautiful kid on the planet. What are you talking about?
Oh, Mrs. Gross.
It's you, Kate. So as Kate stays in this mansion longer and longer, strange things start to occur. She has strange dreams. She sees ghosts, maybe. And one thing to keep in mind is, the horse trainer they had on this estate recently died.
Why? How?
So all of that is put into place, and what we see throughout the movie is possibly Kate's descent into madness. Is that what's happening? Is the house haunted? Is there some sort of possession going on? Nope. What in the world are we watching, and what in the world is The Turning exactly?
I'm not watching it.
So that's enough to set up this story. Now let's skip to this, Ref. Because we are now in Why Watch It. We're being really explicit, as you said, Ref, with, okay, if you like this, then maybe you'll like that. So you mentioned that the two writers here, Carey and Chad Hayes, they wrote The Conjuring. And I really enjoyed The Conjuring.
You love The Conjuring in a very unusual way.
Because it's classic, well-written, well-produced, well-acted horror. Is it great? It doesn't need to be. Go look at it.
Oh, no thank you.
So does this live up to that? No.
Whoa.
Now, I saw this before it was in theaters. We're just getting around to recording. That's all. But since I've seen it and it's been open in theaters, it got an F cinema score.
Oh.
And to get an F cinema score, you have to work really hard. Okay? Like this cinema scores, you can only imagine what certain movies that have like A- and B+ are like. So an F.
Oh.
Now why? Let me tell you something about horror from my perspective.
Oh dear.
The point of horror is this. It's so that we can problem solve in the worst of situations. Like if you think of the zombie genre, what's the point? It's because if this ever happens, I have rules. I know how to handle it. If you think of Dracula, you have rules. If there's a vampire who shows up, I go, wait a minute, garlic, I need a cross, I need holy water, I need sunlight. Like you just rattle it off. If you think of possession movies, you go, wait, in any possession movie, the demon doesn't just jump in the body. There's a whole like nasty courting phase, and you have to kind of be open to it for it to happen. So I can problem solve that. If I feel a demon sneaking up in my body, I'll go, I rebuke you, Satan. Come on. for the ref, as you can see.
Yes.
So in the turning,
Say that. Didn't know you had it in you.
so in the see, you gotta practice. You never know what's gonna happen, and you gotta beat it, or it's not gonna work. So,
my gosh.
in the turning, what are the rules? I have no idea. Is she going crazy or not? Are these people possessed? Is it a ghost? Is it all of them? The way it ends, by the way, you will sit there because throughout the movie, Ref, I was like, okay, let's just get to it, because they do all of the different tropes, the jump scares. You know what's going to happen. You know, it's kind of like they have a little checklist of horror movie things they have to include. Okay, so you're like, oh, let's just get to the end where we get the reveal. And then they try to leave it like, oh, we're not really going to tell you. Excuse me, y'all are not that smart. You're not that clever. This is not that interesting to say, oh, we're going to try to outsmart the audience. How dare you?
Oh.
How dare you? Give us some rules. Ground it in something. This is horror after all. If you don't ground it in anything, it's a joke. It's a joke. Mackenzie Davis is working her butt off.
She always does. I really admire her.
And the rest of the cast, those little kids, Finn Wolfhard, you might want to punch him. Not like Stranger Things at all. It's like, look, dude. And then they don't even explain that correctly. Mrs. Gross Barbara Martin, she has one line, Ref, that was the best part of the movie. I won't even give it away. Because Kate receives these drawings from her mother, and Mrs. Gross sees them and says something. I spat laughing. Yep. And I wasn't the only one. It was hilarious, but was it supposed to be? Okay, we also, Brooklyn Prince is there as a little girl. She does a great job at that. It's not them. The cinematography is beautiful. Beautiful. But so what? It's dead on the page. Okay, that's the problem. So, who should see this? What could it, like, what's the equivalent? There is no equivalent. This is a horror movie without the horror. Because, again, they don't ground it in any rules and anything we can follow and be accountable to. That's what makes you scared, because you go, wait, I'm understanding this and I don't like it. That's missing here, my friends. Why watch it? I guess if you want to see Mackenzie at all, work their butts off with nothing.
Oh, well, The Turning is in theaters now. It is probably in a theater near you. Like the critics said, not necessarily asking you to rush out and go see it, or maybe you should just wait until the Haunting of Bly Manor comes out on Netflix.
Thanks for listening. For additional resources, visit WhyWatchThat.com.
Good idea, and we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and leave comments, feedback, and you can rate us on iTunes.
We'll see you next week.
See you.